end, where we'll be dedicating a full slot for your questions and answers. So today's agenda, I will just give you a brief about lean development in 5 minutes, and then I will leave the ground to my colleague Meher Ramadan, who's our senior technical consultant, to go through Microsoft Teams and how it can be used for telemedicine and show you a live demo. And then my colleague Ghadir, she will give you a brief about chatbots and live chat and how you can get the best benefit out of them. And we'll also show you another demo, and then we'll go to the Microsoft Virtual Desktop and how it can be helpful inside your organization. And as I told you at the end, we will take 10 minutes for your questions and answers. So,
Marwa, are you sharing the screen?
Yes, I do. Can't you see it?
We can't see the presentation.
Okay, so I will try to share it again. Can you see it now?
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, great. So as I told you, I will start with link development at a glance. I will just give you a quick brief about our organization, who we are and what we do, and how we do our business to best fit your requirements and deliver good solutions. We are a global technology and solution provider. We are leaders in the digitization of private and public sectors across different industries. We've been in the market since 1996. We are based in Egypt, Cairo, and we have offices in Alexandria, Dubai, Riyadh, and another office in Rome, Italy. We have more than 600 employees. 90% of them are technical resources across the different technologies available in the market. And we operate in the globe in more than 24 countries. We have a good ecosystem of partners that varies from technical and business partners to find the best solution for you across the different technologies. And we provide different services and different models through on-site or offshore outsourcing. And we have a dedicated team actually for the R&D and creating solutions and products for our customers across the different industries too. Since we started, we've been partners to Microsoft, a gold partner, and we have more than 15 competency that varies across their different workloads. And we've been recognized, and we got multiple awards from Microsoft throughout the years. Our focus industries are healthcare, government, and we also serve other industries like aviation, retail, tourism, real estate, telco. And I will give you a brief about our portfolio of customers shortly. This is our footprint, where we have offices and where we have current customer success stories across the globe. So what we do, we actually do consultation, development, implementation, and management for the technology solutions. So we have different services that we provide across the digital transformation. So we cover technologies like Microsoft CRM, which is called Dynamics 365. So it's mainly CRM and ERP. We work with open source, mobility, we deliver analytics. We also develop on top of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and we, of course, deliver this on the cloud and on-prem if needed. We deliver solutions, and these can be industry-specific platforms. We do products and applications on top, and we also develop accelerators to speed up our implementations. We have business units inside Lean Development that focus on business solutions, which are the CRM and ERP. We have Digital Services Business Unit, which sorry, which focus on the all aspects of development. We deliver infrastructure services and, of course, outsourcing as well. Again, as I told you, our services are consultation, implementation, development, customization. We deliver managed services. We do integrations, infrastructure services, hosting, support, training, and offshore and onshore models. How we do it? This slide summarizes how we do our how we deliver our digital strategy to our customer to realize the value of it. So we start with the strategy. We define the strategy with our customer to benchmark the roadmap where they want to position their organization, and then we start defining the branding guidelines. And then we go to the experience where we design the different experience for their customer through omni-channel solutions, customer self-service and mobility solutions, and we utilize the emerging technologies and augmented reality to deliver the best experience possible. And then we start the transformation where we automate and streamline the business processes inside the organization through enterprise integration, smart services, and Internet of Things if needed. After that, we start the optimization by monitoring and improving the services, monitoring through analytics and insights, digital marketing, capturing the impressions, and do possible optimization if needed. We have an ecosystem of partners, and we actually adopt the latest technologies. So we use agile. We work through using agile methodologies and Scrum framework. We also use DevOps to make sure we deliver the best solutions. We have a great diversity of in-house skill sets. These are samples of what technologies we use. And these are samples of our customers, of the partners. So, of course, Microsoft is on the top of the list. We have other partners like Informatica, K2, Sitecore, OutSystems, robotic process automation partners like Automation Anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism, and other partners where we tap on their technologies to complement our solutions. This is a sample of our customers across the globe. I just highlight the healthcare sample of customers like Dubai Healthcare City in Dubai, Saha, which is Abu Dhabi Health Services Company in Abu Dhabi, UAE, and Maghrabi in Saudi Arabia. We've been recognized and got a lot of awards across the years from Microsoft and from other technology providers or vendors like Amadeus in the airlines, and other awards in banking, etc. So I'll just give you a brief about what we'll be presenting today. So based on the digital transformation pillars, which are engage your customers, empower your employees, optimize your operations, and transform your products and services, we will be presenting the chatbot and live chat, which will help you in engaging your customers and transforming your products and services. And we will see this through the telemedicine approach that we are recommending for you today. And we will utilize Microsoft Teams to complete the telemedicine journey and empower your employees and optimize your operations. And of course, Microsoft Windows Virtual Desktop to better, again, empower your employees and optimize your operations. So this is what we'll be presenting today, and this is where they will help you in the digital transformation. I'll now leave the ground to my colleague, Meher. He will be talking about the productivity utilizing Microsoft Teams and utilizing it for the telemedicine. So Meher, the ground is yours.
Thank you very much, Marwa. I'll be sharing my screen now. Let me know if you can see it, so you can have my presentation.
I can see it now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to have you with us here. We will go through Microsoft Teams real quick, and we will see how this platform can help us in order to complete the journey that we are taking specifically right now in the current circumstances when it comes to healthcare and virtual clinic and telemedicine. What I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes, I hope it won't be more boring 20 minutes for you. I'm going to just go over a quick overview over what team is really all about, just to refresh, or probably for those who don't know. After that, we'll go for a quick demo. We'll show you just the main features, specifically the new ones. We have some new features that are already now available in Microsoft Teams that should help you do your work better. And last, we will talk about how Microsoft and Link Development are strategically being partnered with your business, with your requirements in order to take you where you're going and in order to help all of us achieve our goals and objectives. So here, Microsoft Teams, in a very brief introduction, it's a platform that you can use to communicate with people and to maintain the social distancing that we're looking at right now. And in healthcare, we have seen some very good scenarios and very good practices where we can use Microsoft Teams in order to reach our patients and to provide the services that we usually use to provide in physical clinics, but far away and from safe distances. And of course, also saving time and efforts and budgets. That being said, Microsoft Teams actually works on almost any platform you can think of. You can have it as an application in your desktop. You can have it on any mobile, whether it's Android or iOS. You can have it on your tablet, and you can even use it in the simplest format over any browser, whether it's any of the browsers that are familiar that you might be familiar with. Also, it supports Mac and Apple machines. Now, when it comes to numbers, we can see the growth of the usage of application globally. We can see that in 2018, we were talking about 200,000 organizations that uses Microsoft Teams in their daily operations for different purposes and in different scenarios. This number has jumped in 2019 to reach up to 5,000 organizations. The flexibility, we're talking about 39 supported languages. And also the segments we're working, Teams is being used in 181 markets, which actually prove the flexibility and the adaptability that can be applied in such a platform, and the amount of integrations that you can do, and hopefully we'll be able to come over that through our presentation. The number of users globally who are using Teams actually reached 13 million plus. We have our main competitor, Slack. Some of you might have been using it already, or they might have heard about it. So you can see that we are jumping over that. Why? Because it's a simple application and it's very flexible. It can be integrated with many other applications, whether on your prem or on the cloud. It can help many business segments. Plus, it has its own ecosystem, or it's actually surrounded by Office 365 ecosystem that we might be able to, if we find enough time, might be just explaining on that part a little bit. Generally speaking, we're focused today on Microsoft Teams. However, it is surrounded by other very useful tools that are in your disposal once you go to any of the Office 365 suites. Now, we reach to this slide where we start talking about the new features we have on Teams. Again, we are confident that most of you might have used Teams at least once or came across it. As you can see now, we are having this meeting over Microsoft Teams. We can see the quality of the video and the presentation and all this major features. Plus, it doesn't require any licenses for you as an attendee to attend any meeting. So even if you don't have a team license or a team application installed on your device, yet you can use any browser, as we have mentioned earlier, and you can have this. So that being said, you can use it as a platform to support your audience. We're talking here, for example, about your patients. We're talking about probably thousands of patients. So we can see some increase in the numbers that Teams support. For example, we used to support 100 group chats. You can see here in point 3, It used to be 100 group chat. It jumped to 250 participants in a single chat window. Teammates, it jumped from 5,000 to 10,000 teammates in a single team. And we will probably explain what we mean by team in our demo. So to make this more interactive, let's jump into the demo that we wanted actually to show you. As you can see here, we have these navigation icons on the left side of your team. This is how the team application basically will look like on your desktop. This is the full-fledged. If you're looking at the full features, it's recommended to have this desktop application installed. The other platforms, if you're using a browser or probably a mobile app, you might lose some of the features based on the limitations on that specific browser or that specific mobile OS or device OS. However, coming to this, let's go over these icons real quick. At the same time, we will be actually highlighting the new features that we have mentioned earlier. Here we have the activities icon. This is actually showing you whenever someone is sending you a direct message or mentioning you with this ad here. As you can see, there's an ad. This is the mention icon that actually a notification sent to your desktop or to your team app that actually tries to raise your attention and tell you that someone is trying to reach out specifically for you. However, when it comes to the next icon, which is the chat icon, I can see here that I can search for any of my colleague. The address book, as we can see, is already integrated with Microsoft Teams. So you can simply type the first letters or the name of any of your colleague and it will show up, it will pop up. You can immediately start chatting with that employee. Moreover, you will see the regular, probably the well-known icons on the top right corner showing the video call, audio call, and share screen that we are used to see previously, and we can add more attendees here. Now, what's new is this icon here, pop-up chat. You can find it also here on the left navigation area. And simply, if you click on this pop-up, you can see this is one of the features that audience or team users have been asking Microsoft to have this simple window of a chat IM window, instant messaging window, away from the entire application window. That makes it much more simpler and better for multitasking. As you can see here, I can have my chat window here opened right next to my presentation. I don't have to have the entire team application, which is obviously a bigger window than this one. Moreover, I still have some of the good features that I used to have while this pop-up was actually embedded inside the application. And simply, I can go ahead and do the same functions. I can simply add any of my colleagues here, like Mitri, for example. I can add them to the same conversation. And you can see at the fraction of a second, now this conversation has changed from one-to-one to one-to-many, and I can add as many people as I want in my organization. So this is one of the new cool features I just wanted to highlight. And moving over to the other icons that are actually visible here on the left side, this is actually the Teams icon. This is where the name Teams comes from. And this is actually the core of the communication. You can probably say this is the communication hub. This is where you can create teams. Probably you have a specific a group of doctors working on a research, or probably a certain department in your hospital, or probably a team for pediatrics, a team for cardiologists, a team for, you can think of all the teams that you can build. And the main idea here by building those teams is basically having a virtual space for them to work together, share all the knowledge they want, accessibility and reachability. They can share files, they can share whatever data. And the good thing is you will have all these information, all these related pieces of data in one place. They are all under the same team, and they have been managed by the same team. It will take you to a very simple step. I'll just try to do it real quick. You can choose between private and public. I don't want to waste your time in this. I think it's very straightforward. I'll just name my team here, and right away I can start adding team members on that team. Nevertheless, you will have, of course, the ability to have admins on that team, just like any other team you would create or any other group you would create, even on your WhatsApp application. The difference, of course, between WhatsApp and what we're talking about here is this is an application that is managed and controlled by your environment, fully integrated with your systems. And the amount of integrations that you can have with teams are actually countless, as we will see. As you can see here, once you add the team member, you will be asked whether you want to have him as an owner, which is an admin of that team who can change some of the features and some of the options of that team. And once you get the team created, you're good to go. You can start chatting, sharing people, adding more members, and doing a lot of things that are related to the teamwork we are talking about here. Based on your organization policy, you can also add people from outside your organization, even as a team member. You'll be mentioned as a guest. So it even gives you this piece of information. Even if we go here to our meeting now, I can show you real quick what do we mean by the different type of attendees. We can have some of the names here. It clearly shows guest. Some others clearly shows as outside of my organization, and some shows as the full name, which clarifies that this person is actually inside my organization and I should be able to reach out for him. Now, coming back to your organization, one of the very good features that inspires many of our customers and they actually like it is this icon right here. If this person is inside my organization, I can pick him up from the address book. And once I click on this icon, you can see it pulls out the organization structure, having this person located in his role in my organization. So that simplifies also and makes the communication more clear. I know this person right now, his position. I know the team reporting to him. He's actually my manager. I'm one of the members reporting to him. I know who is he reporting to, and so on and so forth. And again, this type of information, it's very, very important and it's very helpful. However, you don't need to code it manually inside of Teams. It pulls all this information from your Active Directory, from your current system, so you don't need to do additional work in order to get this up and running. So we talked about Teams. We try to move fast. We try to make it simple and not boring for you. Coming back into the calendar, a real quick highlight that we want to mention when it comes to the calendar, it's fully integrated with your Outlook calendar. Yes, many people say that because we are considering that you are on the Office 365 ecosystem. However, it's very important to notice that if you have your calendar located in your Exchange environment, on your on-prem, or in your data center, that requires some additional integration that you need to do. It's not a very complicated one. It's a very secure one, and it doesn't necessitate moving any of your data or any of your mailboxes to the cloud. It's just open a door for Teams to be able to see your calendar, and you will have this seamless integration that we talked about. So whatever you have on Teams calendar will be actually replicated on your Outlook calendar, and you will avoid any type of confusion. Now, we talked during my speech, I mentioned many times the amount and the scenarios and the amount of integrations that you can have with Teams as a platform. There are a very big number of applications that you can see here that are already ready for you to use, and they are ready for you to have integrated already with Teams. You just need to add the information. For example, if we're talking about Cisco WebEx here, you can just add the Cisco administrator can add the Cisco information related to your environment, and you will have it up and running. You will have it as an additional application. We have seen some healthcare sector providers in many regions. They have their own applications that actually support their patients in order either to book an appointment or to have to facilitate the virtual clinic or the telemedicine that we talked about. you can have this platform up and ready for you, and it will provide all these features for you at your fingertips in a very short time. As we all know, this is a cloud-based application, so you don't need to set the infrastructure for this. You have it up and running. It's just a matter of enabling it for end users, and you are good to go. If you have an application that is not available in this huge marketplace, you might have your custom application, your on-prem application, or any other cloud application that is not available here. Still, you can connect to Teams APIs. We have this availability that you can connect to Team APIs. You can simply call that application, bring it back into Teams, and work on it. Let me show you a real example. I have another environment here. This is actually my testing environment, and I have an application here called Community Training. This is one of the applications hosted in Azure. It provides training for your employees, and it can provide also certifications once they are done with these trainings and exams. As you can see, I have this additional tab here. Once I click on it, it will open that training application. Actually, it's customized for one of my customers, so I don't think that it's proper to show it right here, right now, but I just wanted to show you the idea and how it will look like from Teams perspective. What else? You can, as we mentioned, you can share files. All the files that are shared over Teams can be available for you under one place here, so it makes your life much way easier. When it comes to calls, okay, what do we have here? Here you can make the native calls that we have over any voice over IP application. This is free of cost. It just requires your internet connection, as you might already know. But that's not all. You can integrate Teams with any of your PBX or your call management solutions. Many of our customers, for example, they have Citrix Call Manager. They are fully supported. We can integrate them. We just need to do some professional work in order to integrate them. And at the end of the day, you will be able to make calls from your disk phone, from your extensions, towards TeamSoft clients or Teams applications that are installed in your devices, and vice versa. On top of that, also, as Microsoft always tries to, or actually the way Microsoft works is actually they loosely couple the application from the hardware. So we are not actually attached to any type of hardware. This is a platform that can be integrated on almost any hardware that you have. And speaking about that, also, it's good to mention the meeting rooms. The meeting setup that you might have. You might have a meeting room, a professional meeting room that you have spent a budget on it. It could be Citrix, it could be Polycom, it could be, we are, by the way, partners with those big names. It could be Logitech for Business. And all of these components, either they are fully supported, they are ready for you to work. Probably Logitech for Business is one of them, or probably it's a legacy Cisco that might require some additional configuration and some third-party tools. However, at the end of the day, you will be able to have those meeting rooms up and running as they are expected to do, integrated with Teams. So you're using Teams as your platform, as your software, and your hardware is integrated with that platform. Now, one of the new features that unfortunately will not be able to test, and I don't recommend any of you to test right now because you need to disconnect from the network in order to test that, is this one, the first one, your most recent conversations, as well as your pin chats and channels are now available working offline. So that's also a good thing. You lose connectivity, yet you need to have those recent conversations visible for you. You need to pull some information from it. So that's there. That's one of the cool feature. You can also customize your background. This is actually a little bit of fun. Let me just show it to you real quick. Coming back to the meeting that we have here. Just click on it, pop it up. Okay, so you can see here all the controls that you have inside your team. And from this icons here, you can see that you can click on this one, which says show background effects. And probably I'm sitting in a public place or probably a private place that I don't want everybody to maybe there's some distraction on my background for some reason. And as you can see, I can simply choose one of these predefined backgrounds. You can see that the background here has changed to something completely different to where I'm sitting. This is very helpful when people are actually having such meetings from a public place and they don't want actually the audience to be distracted with what's happening on the background. We have also the earlier feature, which actually blurs your background. It makes it less clear than it is. And that's also one of the very helpful features out there. Okay, so that was my time, and I think my 20 minutes are over. So I'll just hover over the last two slides that I wanted to highlight that actually demonstrates how, as we mentioned, Microsoft and Link Development are interested of being a strategic partner with your organization. First of all, it's good to highlight for those who don't know, Microsoft has came with this approach for the COVID-19. It provides you with E1 licenses for free for 6 months for unlimited number of users. This is to help people work from home, work along with the social distancing required. So you can have this for free. You can have it up and running. We can set it up for you. And when it comes to link development, we are proud to say that we are one of 200 partners all over the world that are actually under the fast track program. We don't only provide you with the licenses or with the consultations, we also work hand in hand with your team free of charge to come up with a complete rollout plan, including sitting with your business users, setting up the scenarios, having the rollout plan, having the materials required for the announcements, having the awareness sessions and what have you, in order to make sure that your interested audience are actually adapted and they are actually using the application to the maximum and getting the best out of it. Thank you very much. I don't want to take time from my colleague here. I think it's time for the chatbot. This is actually going to be the next session here for another 20 minutes. Chatbot, so I will leave it to my colleague Ghadir. I'll just stop sharing my screen for now so you can, Ghadir, you can share your screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Maher. Hi, everyone. My name is Ghadir Ibrahim, and I'm going to talk to you today about a very interesting solution, which will help you support your patients anytime with intelligent live chat and AI chatbot services. So let's get started. Today we'll talk about what a chatbot is. We'll talk about what a chatbot is, what is Bubble's solution, and we'll show 2 demos. So to start off, we'll talk about what a chatbot is. So basically, chatbots are computer programs that simulate human-like conversations with your patients. Chatbots are increasingly helping the private sector, and now is the time for the healthcare sector to start addressing the crucial issue of improving the communication between healthcare professionals or entities and their patients using AI and machine learning. So basically, AI, which is artificial intelligence, coupled with Bubbles, provides you with a solution, with a platform that's really smart. It understands tone, sentiment, and your patient personalities in order to be able to serve them better or like help them better. You can definitely feed your chatbot with your knowledge base, and it will answer your patient inquiries. And it will provide your patients with assistance and care in the healthcare field. Chatbots can have multiple uses, but the ones we're going to be focusing on today are appointment maker. The chatbot can be used to make appointments remotely with using, like, it can act like a telemedicine solution, where it can make appointments with the patient and connect the patient to a doctor. And it can also supply medical information to your patients, answer their questions. If their questions are frequently asked, or if your bot is able to answer them, it will answer them. Can also do pre-diagnosis and referrals, hospital and outpatient care, support for chronic diseases, as well as compliance and information on treatments. So a question arises every time we talk about chatbots, like, what will a chatbot do for me? Why would I invest in a chatbot? And here we have these answers. The first thing is that chatbots don't have working hours. So chatbots don't take coffee breaks, and they don't get personal problems. They're not like a human, but they function like a human. They converse, they talk to your patients as if they were humans. So that way you can hire an employee to assist your patients. At the same time, it won't be taking breaks, and it will be serving them around the clock. The second reason why you should invest in a chatbot is that in the region, and honestly all over the world, chatbots are being heavily adopted by early adopters. It's expected that by 2022, chatbots will be able to answer 90% of your patients' questions or customer questions in general. And it also adds a hype to your, let's say, private practice. It will attract your technology-loving patients, and it gives a really nice reputation. Additionally, we have full communication control in chatbots. This way, you can teach your bot to say exactly what you want it to say. It won't make up answers. It won't give outdated or misleading information to your patients. Chatbots now are also very, very smart, using AI and machine learning technologies. They're able to, as I mentioned before, understand the sentiment and the intent and what your user wants really, and to give your user a pleasant experience. It's not frustrating. And of course, chatbots are inexpensive because they provide your users with answers and it costs less than apps. So let's move on. Okay, so what is Bubble's chat solution? Bubble's chat solution is a live chat, which is having a human agent interact directly with your patients when needed, and a chatbot solution that, like, a chatbot answers your patient's questions until it's unable to. And Bubbles is developed in-house at Link Development. As Marwa mentioned, Link Development has been around for more than 24 years. So it took a village to bring it up. It provides your patients with information quickly, and if it's not able to provide an answer, it can hand over the conversation to a human agent. This is a bit techy, but I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. So basically here, what we have is that on the left-hand side, we have our users. They can connect with us through Facebook, Instagram, through Facebook websites, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp. There are multiple channels where they can connect with our services from, and then the chatbot takes them through a tour. First of all, there is the first model, which is FAQs, which a user types in a question and the bot searches its database and comes back with an answer. The second one is dynamic dialogue. Dynamic dialogues basically allow the chatbot to lead the conversation with the patient and give the patient predefined choices to choose from. And of course, we have the AI powered, which identifies the intent and the sentiment of the user, the human user. And if all of these models still don't answer your user's question, you can hand over the chat to a human agent to better serve your patients. Of course, it's built on Microsoft technology, and yeah, that's it. We come to the important question of why should we choose Bubbles as our solution. First of all, Bubbles has a very strong backend, which means it's easy to use, it's easy to train, it's quite straightforward. It's a one-stop shop to manage all your bot and live chat related tasks. It also has the human handover feature, which allows the bot to take the conversation until a certain limit, and then it hands it over to a human agent. This is a very useful feature because it saves agents time by allowing the bot to answer questions, and it also removes the frustration from your patient in case your patient was trying to find an answer that the bot doesn't know. So your patient will be able to get the answer like immediately. Bubbles also supports the Arabic language, so your patients can talk to your bot in Arabic, and it will understand them and answer them. Bubbles is also, as mentioned before, it's powered by Link Development, so it's supported by more than 600 employees, and it integrates with WhatsApp and other applications. Here is a sample of our customers, of Bubbles customers. As mentioned, we've created a chatbot for Dubai Healthcare City. So that's the one of the healthcare applications that we've created. And now we'll just move on for the demo. So we'll demo two things today. We'll demo an appointment bot that is used for telemedicine, and it sends your patient to Microsoft Teams in order for your patient to talk to a doctor.
Ghadir, we can't hear you actually. Are you still there? I think for some reason Ghadir might have a technical issue, so sorry for that. Let's give her a minute or two, probably a network issue.
Sorry about that. It disconnected.
No worries, I can hear her now. Yes, you might need to reshare your screen, Ghadir. We'll come back.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. So let's do that. Okay. So here we'll demo. We'll get right back to the demo. So here we're trying to demo an appointment bot. First of all, the bot asks the patient for their name and their email address. So we'll start. The bot asks the user for their name and their email address in order to put it in a customer profiling database that allows you to check your patients, where they come from, when they come around, all this, okay? First of all, the bot asks us to choose a language. So we'll choose English. We'll go ahead and choose English.
What is your phone number?
Here we have utilized the speech-to-text feature, where the bot asks the question with voice. I hope you guys have read that. So it will ask me my phone number. I'll just go ahead and give it to the bot.
What is your age?
It will ask about my age. We can see
Please
here.
choose your city.
Okay, we can see here that we can send free texts to the bot, and it will understand it and go ahead with the next question. And here we can choose from a list of options. So I'll go ahead and say I'm in Dubai.
Please choose your region.
It will ask me for my region. I'll say I am in region 2.
Please choose the speciality.
Here I'll choose optometry.
Choose a day from the list.
And here I'll type in Monday, okay? Because the bot understands the answers whether they were pressed on a button or written down. So I'll choose Monday. Here, what the bot is trying to do is take all the information in order.
To the time, format 9:30 p.m. We are available from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's taking the information for the appointment dynamically in a very, like in 2 minutes, I'm gonna be able to make my appointment, which is great. I'll go ahead and enter the time I would like my appointment to be at. I want it at 10:30 a.m. on Monday.
Name, Gadia. Email, Gadia. Ibrahim LinkDev.com.
Okay,
10996894449 city.
I'm just gonna confirm because it was just gonna read the entire
Hello,
thing.
Gadia. We have reversed a ticket for optometry appointment. And we will send the detail within 24 hours on your email, gadia.ibrahim@linkdev.com.
Thank you. Okay. So here, as we can see, I received an email for the appointment, but I'm gonna go ahead and close the conversation first. It will ask me if I'm sure that I want to close the conversation. I'm gonna say yes. We can also rate the conversations so that we can, so the admin users can check the performance, how people like the bot, all of this. I'm just gonna say here, great service, and send my rating. Okay. And then the next step is that I'll check my email. Here we can see that when I open this link, definitely the email has the information for my appointment, its time, all of this. Here it opened the Microsoft Teams tab, and this way, like I can't really show you how Teams work now because I am on Teams. But when you click Open Microsoft Teams, it takes you to Microsoft Teams window, and you can wait for your doctor to prompt you into the session. This way, this model has many benefits. First of all is that it creates appointments in no time. Secondly is that the appointments are done remotely so that you can utilize it in your clinic or private practice. This way, you can create the appointments and at the same time not still practice social distancing, like give help to your patients without contaminating them or like without hiring the risk of infection of coronavirus. So that was our first demo. Our second demo is gonna be showing us how our bot can use machine learning in order to improve its learning curve and answer user questions. So here, as we can see, I'm entering my name and email for the bot so that it can see it in the back end, so that it can be stored as a user. We'll start chatting. The bot will send me a welcome message, ask me how it can help me. Let's say I want to ask about the number of cases of corona. So I'll ask, what is the number of cases in Egypt, for instance? we see here that the bot has extracted the information and gave it to me like straight away. It answered my question on the number of cases and the new cases. Here we're gonna go ahead and maybe ask the bot about shopping tips. Or like how to stay safe while shopping. Grocery shopping safety tips. Here we can see that the bot is utilizing machine learning. It did not quite get the question I asked specifically, but it checked its database and looked for keywords like safe and shopping. And it brought this question. It's asking me, do I mean this question or do I mean another question? So yeah, here I'll say I mean that how to stay. I mean to ask how to stay safe during shopping. The bot's gonna start giving me some tips. Let's say I have another issue. I want to ask the bot. I want to tell the bot that my son is sick. Here the bot is gonna start answering my questions in a very emotionally intelligent way. It will tell me that I understand that you're concerned that you might have coronavirus. It's gonna list the symptoms, and then it's gonna go like, I'm gonna ask you some questions to determine what to do next, because it's an assessment tool as well. It can be used as an assessment tool for any disease, not necessarily coronavirus. So it's asking me, do I have a fever? I do. Are you experiencing a new and continuous cough? I do. Have you been in contact with someone who known to have coronavirus? I'll say yes. Are you feeling ill that you cannot carry out normal daily activities? I'll go ahead and say yes. So here we have a very important feature, which is the human handover. I'm just gonna go here and minimize, like get another screen. So here I went online, right? I'm a live agent and I went online. We can see here that, yeah, when I press talk to live agent, a chat window is gonna pop here. This is the window that the live agent can see, or like a healthcare professional can see. This can also be used in telemedicine in order to connect patients directly to a healthcare professional to get their help. So here I can see the conversation, how it went, and I can talk to the patient. I'll just be like, hi, how can I help you? And send it. We can see here that I got the notification and the conversation can go on. So like, let's say this conversation is now done. I'll say yes, rate it. The live agent will also get a notification about it being done. And will also be asked to rate the chat. I just want to take you through a quick tour in Bubble's backend. So we have reports. We have, okay, we'll just wait for it to load. We have reports, settings, visitors tracking, conversations. Conversations is basically where all the conversation logs for your patients are stored. And you can also see, you can see the customer patient's name, who the operator that took the conversation is, what time was that call or that communication, the duration, rating, and how it was closed. Was it closed by the customer or because the customer wasn't answering, or like different reasons. And you can also view the chat log, get a link to it so that you can send it to someone else in order to learn from it or to train. And you can also export the log. Here we have offline messages. Offline messages are basically what you get when a live agent is not present. It's mainly useful for live chat solution only, not with the chatbot. Here we have the users where you can manage your users. Here you can manage your departments, quick responses for your live chat agents for them to check the knowledge base quickly, and your knowledge base, frequently asked questions where you can train your bot, unanswered questions, or when your bot is unable to answer a question, and that you can make your bot become smarter and serve your customers better. And here we have the dynamic dialogue, which is the options thing that we went through in the demos. Yeah, so I think I'm done here. So I'll hand over the floor back to Meher.
Thank you so much, Ghadir. That was really, really interesting. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody else did. So it's me again. I'm resharing my screen, and here we are. This is our last presentation. That's actually focused on Azure WVD. Another 20 minutes of your precious time, and we'd just like to remind you that we will have the Q&A session at the end of this. So please be sure you have those questions ready. We are very interested in answering them. So WVD, Windows Virtual Desktop. If anybody is having difficulty seeing my screen, please let me know. Here we are. Actually, I meant to mention this as my first slide here to change the name to VDI. For those who have been introduced to this technology earlier, they might have come across of this terminology, which is virtual desktop infrastructure. And we used to have this helping many organizations to, again, move away from the dependencies and the complications related to end users' machines and keep everything under one roof. All your organization, not only data and servers and services, everything else that's related to your organization, even data that used to be hosted on end users' machines and applications used to be running on end users' machines, having that all in under one box, as we can see here in your data center. So we're not only virtualizing servers as we used to do in earlier years, now we're virtualizing also applications and client virtual machines. And there's a plethora actually of benefits that you can get from that, which is disengaging all the risks that might be, or actually mitigating all the risks that are related to end users' devices, whether they are secure, not secure, infected, or probably having some physical security issues, lost or stolen, God forbid, or what have you. So basically, as you can see here, we have our data center having a big, actually relatively big infrastructure, having multiple components. As you can see here, we have our gateway, connection broker, licensing server, that's database. I'm not trying to be technical here, but what I'm trying to showcase is we have multiple components that are required to run that VDI concept or infrastructure that transforms the end user to a screen. He's just using a very dumb screen, something that's very simple. Any device, again, he can use in order to access the environment that you have provisioned, you have control over, and you have allowed that client, either it's a patient or one of our employees in the health sector, to use. So the benefits are actually countless. I can keep talking about these benefits for another probably 5 minutes. I don't want to spend all the time. Some of you might have also came across this methodology or this idea before, the VDI, bring your own device, and all this type of concepts. However, why we are coming back to this now, that's a very important question. More than ever, now we are again trying to detach our users from the office, detach our users from being on-prem, detach our dependencies from that local data center that is always there, always a burden on our shoulder. more than ever now, we need to be flexible. We need to be responsive. We need to have the ability to change the way we work very quickly in order to adapt to such a pandemic that we have right now, or any other situation that might come across our business or our services that we are providing to very important clients here, and those are your patients. So let's go now and take a step further to another enhancement that you can do in this domain. And actually, it's not only an enhancement in many ways, and one of them is actually making it easier for you to adapt such a platform or such a new approach in order to provide your services in much better ways and more flexible and probably less risky approaches. So WVD, the Azure way, this is the new approach that we have, converting VDI to Windows Virtual Desktop and having all this bulky or probably complicated infrastructure that we have seen in the previous slide, and having that in that cloud that you can see here. This is Azure PaaS, which is actually Azure Platform as a Service. You're not only virtualizing your environment, you're not only detaching such big environment from your data center, you're also using the PaaS services, which is actually, many of these services are not even virtual machines. They are ready-made services for you. They are also detached from that additional layer of infrastructure that many of people who work in the IT might understand what I'm trying to talk about here, moving one layer further. This helps you to be more flexible, more agile. At the same time, it helps your team to focus more on what's really important and serving those clients here, accessing that environment. On the other hand, also, you can notice that it's not a one-way ticket. You still can have connectivity with some of the services that you might have on-prem. So we're talking about the hybrid approach here. We're not mandating, or there's no necessity for you to either be 100% cloud, 100% on-prem. Today, you're adapting a new technology. For example, you need to roll an environment real quick. We can see the challenges we have now in the logistics and in the shipping and transportation. Just imagine you want to ship new servers, you want to acquire new servers. It will be more challenging for you now. However, Azure provides you with all the required infrastructure that can help you have these systems up and running in minutes, in very short times, probably in most complex scenarios, we will talk about hours, to be able to provision these environments, and they are ready to use for you and to be used also by your patients or clients. Now, what do we have when it comes to WVD? We have something called Windows 10 multi-session virtual desktop experience. Actually, this is one of the smart ways that helps minimizing your footprint from one end, and at the same time making sure that these resources are utilized up to the maximum and they're not standing idle. Basically, in short, in very simple explanation, it allows many users access the same virtual desktop, and each one of these users will have the experience as if he's accessing his own desktop. At the back end, it's only one virtual machine, only one Windows 10 multi-session Windows desktop. Of course, it's visualized environment, so we're having flexibility here and providing more with less. Now, actually, also we have the enable optimization for Microsoft apps or for apps for enterprise. Applications like Office 365, the Office Pro Plus, OneNote. These applications are actually optimized on the environment because at the end of the day, as we have mentioned, you have the option either to use a server that provisions these desktops or applications to end users, and you have the option to use the Windows 10 multi-session approach. You can also migrate Windows Server remote desktop and apps to Azure. Once you have set your footprint in Azure, this is like a gateway for you. You can start using it, using that huge infrastructure that doesn't only support Microsoft workloads, by the way. You might have applications hosted on Linux servers or in any other technologies. Microsoft or Azure, actually, they don't even call it Microsoft Azure now. They call it just Azure to highlight and to explain to users or make it more clear to clients that we're not only talking about Microsoft technologies here. We're talking about a huge marketplace that has so many third-party vendors that you can utilize their services on the cloud in few minutes, as we mentioned. So yes, you can virtualize also your applications. And what we mean by virtualizing your applications, we mean that you are, again, de-attaching the dependencies. So you do not need to always, focus on, okay, this operating system, this application does not support this operating system, Windows 7, for example. So I have to upgrade my operating system in order to use this app. Once you virtualize the application, you put it in a certain bubble, and that means it works and it actually interacts with the user while it's inside that bubble. So it doesn't really look at which environment it's running on top of. And this actually gives you the flexibility of using the multi-platform approach that we have talked about, accessing your application and your desktops from anywhere and bring your own device. Deploy and scale in minutes. Today, if you have your own data center, you have your own VDI running at the backend, and you need to scale up, scale down, or you need to do any changes, probably scaling up at the end of the day, even if you're using a virtualized environment, this virtualized environment is actually dependent on a physical environment at the backend. We call it the hosts. So these hosts, if they are not enough, we have more people now working away from home, so probably we might have more applications and more services that we need to provide for them. So here comes a huge load that requires huge interaction from your end and a very limited amount of time. All these restrictions are not there when you go to WVD. You can scale up in minutes. You can increase the size of your environment in minutes. You can decrease it also. If you're talking about seasonal cases like today, we have a season where we need a lot of resources to be engaged. Tomorrow, the utilization is less. We can come back to the normal sizing that we used to run and save costs, by the way. Now, this is one interesting slide that actually separates or explains what is your role when it comes to WVD and what is Microsoft is going to take away from your shoulders or your burden. So at the left side, you will see here, this is your subscription, your control, because when we say that you are moving to the cloud, we're only just removing the time-consuming tasks that are attached to your environment. However, we are giving you all the controls, all the administrative portals that you need in order to customize and control your own environment. That's very essential for you. So the first box on the left top corner, which is desktop and remote apps, these are the clients, these are the supported technologies here. You can have a full desktop experience, you can have a remote app, which is basically virtualizing the application as we have explained earlier. We have the Windows 10 Enterprise multi-session, the normal Windows 10 that we all know about. We have also Windows 2012 R2 and newer supported version of Windows. And one of the benefits that we are going to actually to highlight is the Windows 7 Enterprise full desktop. Now, we have a benefit here that you might also consider when you're going to WVD. Windows 10 might be out of support, Windows 7, sorry, might be out of support now. However, if you go to WVD environment, you have up to 3 years support for the same version of Windows as one of the benefits that you might have. Now, the box right next to under it is actually same side, left side at the bottom, the management and policies. You can have all the management and policies required to manage these this environment. Like you have your own image. You are not necessarily forced to use an image that was already a template on Azure. You can upload your own image, the one that has all the specifications, probably all the applications predefined on it. You can have it on Azure and you can run it from there. You can have also the profile management, user identity, VM sizing and scaling policies. You can have some policies related to scaling, like for example, we call it auto scaling. You have a VM that actually the CPU of that VM reached to a certain threshold, and now you want to increase the size of that VM to accommodate this. So this is one of the policies that you can configure for some of your VMs. You have user management identity, you have new network policies, and so on and so forth. Now on the right side, this is actually what Microsoft is taking care of to a certain level or to a big degree. So you have, of course, on the top right corner, you have the Windows Virtual Desktop Services. These are the components that we talked about earlier. They are all provided ready for you, and they are, let's say, pre-configured for you to customize and use. And we have, of course, the huge infrastructure that actually, this is actually, what we mean by that is the Azure Infrastructure as a Service. This is actually your compute, your storage, and your networking. Consider this as your, typically, the old-fashioned on-prem data center of yours. Now, let's talk again, let's wrap up the WVD benefits once more. Again, we have flexibility, the Windows 10 multi-session we've talked about, Windows 7, security updates for another 3 years. Bring your own device. End users are actually not attached to a certain client device. Maybe some of you are familiar with the terminologies as thin client or zero client. This is a very simple device. It has almost nothing into it. It's just a dumb box, a small box, not costly at all, minimal hardware required. And what it gives you is just like a screen that connects you to your environment, your real environment on the VDI. We have done one of the very, very interesting POCs or demos that we have done way back when we used to have, if you remember, the BlackBerry devices, the BlackBerry phones. And we did an environment that allows BlackBerry users to access their Windows machines from that BlackBerry. Just imagine that old-fashioned mobile that nobody, probably the new generation, doesn't even know about now. You can access your Windows desktop and start working on tasks from that device. So this is what we mean by flexibility and detaching the user from the device and removing the effort, the burden of your IT to manage these devices. You don't need to worry about that. They need to only focus on the data center and the backend because everything is there now. Data will follow the user. This is also one of the cool approaches here. You don't need to worry about data being hosted on the client machine. The end user will access the virtual desktop environment and will see his data following him wherever he is because his profile is already mapped whenever he accesses any of these virtual environment. Now, real quick, it's not also a one model that we're talking about here. Additional flexibility, we have 3 models when it comes to WVD. The first model is actually one user, one VM. So this is like you are assigning a specific VM to a specific user. This is not the really recommended approach because it might utilize a lot of resources, but at the end of the day, it might be required to some of your users who are actually requiring very specific needs. So it's there for them. The multi-session model, the one that we have talked about, this could be also helpful when it comes to shift workers or people who works on shifts in your hospital probably. So that machine won't be ideal and won't be dedicated only for one person. As you can see in this picture, there are 3 people accessing the same virtual machine because it supports multiple sessions, and they are utilizing that virtual machine to its maximum, so they are not wasting any of the resources. Moreover, we have 3 others waiting for their shifts to come. They are not working now, but once they come, they can use the same and utilize the same environment rather than dedicating a VM or a desktop for each one of them. Now, probably the most effective or efficient approach is the host pools. And this is one of the approaches that we might recommend because it has some additional features and flexibilities in it. So what do we mean by host pools? You have a group of virtual machines. They are provided as a host pool. At the back end, first of all, you can, again, provision these machines in seconds or minutes. You can have 100 or a couple of hundred of virtual machines provisioned in a few minutes and ready for the users. They are all under the same pool. That allows you, first of all, to manage this pool as a unit. So today I have an important security patch that I need to roll out on all these virtual machines. I don't need to do it one by one. I can push that security patch to the pool, and it will be pushed to each and every VM under that pool. I need to install an application, for example. I have one of the most important healthcare applications that all of my staff need to use. I can do the same thing. Load balancing. When I have this host pool approach, end users accessing from different departments, they can have it load balanced. I can make sure that they access the most available VM, the most available resource, though all the time they have the same good experience that they were looking for. Last but not least, we are talking about Azure File Sync here. This is one also of the technologies that you might think of. Replicating all your data or all your important data, the data that you need to have available to everyone from any device. You can replicate that to Azure using Azure File Sync technology. And it's a very smart technology that will only keep a cached copy of those files on your machine. Those files will be the hot files or databases that you use very often. They have, we call it hot data. They have, you apply actually a group of changes on them in a short period of time. So we keep those files cached on your machine in order to reduce the dependency on the network or recalling them over the internet, because at the end of the day, Azure is a cloud solution. For that, on the other hand, when it comes to cold data or data that doesn't have many changes on them, specifically over a short period of time, so you can keep those data hosted on Azure to save the storage on your on-prem and to make sure, again, that the flexibility, the accessibility is always managed and maintained. I would wrap up with that. I would really thank you for your time once more. I hope it was a very interesting and informative presentations for each one of us. And here we come at the end of the session. This is the Q&A session. We would really appreciate if anyone has any question. We are ready. You just close my cam here. I believe you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or probably I see there's some. I'm not sure if there are questions asked on the chat here. No, it seems like we don't have questions yet. So Marwa is unanswered questions will be answered by who? Okay.
Hi there. Okay, so the chatbot unanswered questions are usually answered. Let me just open my camera here. Chatbots unanswered questions are usually answered by the chatbot admin. The chatbot admin basically is responsible for training the bot and making sure that the bot has all the information it needs. So when there is an unanswered question, the chatbot admin can go and train the bot on answering this question or relating the question to another question that's in the database. So basically that's it. Like there is a human person who's responsible for training the bot and making sure that the bot knows everything it needs to know. I hope that answered your question. Also, I'd like to take this chance to encourage you to take a free trial for Bubbles. I'll post the link for the website on the chat. You can try out the solution yourself, and you can take the entire tour before you decide on moving on with it. Let's go ahead and do this now. Can the conversation end from the bot side? Only under one circumstance, which is if the user is not able to run time. You can control the time where the bot ends the conversation. It can be set. It can be set. It can be like 5 minutes. If the user does not answer in 5 minutes, the bot can go ahead and ask the user if they need any more help. And if the user still does not answer, the bot says thank you and ends the conversation. But you can control the amount of time where the user does not answer before the bot closes the conversation. Do you have any more questions? I hope I answered that too.
I'm getting jealous now, Hadir. No questions for Teams or WVD. Where's the
chatbots?
We have 2 sessions, 0 questions. Okay.
Maybe you were clear enough, Meher, I guess.
I hope so.
Yes. We are happy to answer your questions. It's quite interesting for us. So please, I encourage you to write any questions you want, or even open your mic and ask them directly. Okay. So I guess there are no more questions. Thank you very much. We had a pleasure delivering this content for you, and we are always there to answer any questions or give you more details about any of the material or content delivered here. You can reach out to us through the emails, and we'll be happy to answer you. Also, as I said in the beginning, we'll be sharing this webinar as it is recorded. So if you are interested to get the recorded webinar, just email us and we will reply with a link for you to access. Again, thank you all. It has been a pleasure, and maybe we can see you again in the next webinar. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Marwa. Bye.
Everyone. Oh, we still have a question.